Hey, welcome back, friends, to the Vols for Life podcast. I'd like to take just a quick second and thank you guys for taking a few minutes out of your day, sharing it with us, talking some big orange sports, something I know we both love, Bob.
Oh yeah.
Today we're going to jump right into the spring practices here. And, Bob, it's big for certain guys, for the team in some instances, and for some instances, it's them, man. They're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it is, Tim. It's huge for some guys in their development. The first guy we're going to talk about is Dante Thornton. But before we do get into him, like Tim said, if you don't care, hit that like and subscribe button. If you hit that button, it pushes us out to other fellow Vol fans, which helps us a lot. We sure do appreciate that. But with Thornton, they went out, Tim, and they got three guys coming in that could potentially put major heat on him. He started off in slot, really struggled. Went to the outside and started showing some flashes.
Mm-hmm.
But they went out and got Tulane's Chris Brazel and got what I believe, two future superstars in Mike Matthews and Brandon Staley at wide receiver spot. Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you what, both those two freshmen, I don't think it's a matter of if with either one of them. It's a matter of when. I
Mm-hmm.
love both their games. Uh, really good athletes, decent size, a lot to like, but they are freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
Now Thornton, on the other hand, there's you cannot look at him and just want anything else. I mean, physically, I mean he's almost six. He's almost 6.5 foot tall. I mean, he's huge for
Yeah.
a wide receiver. A blazer at the wide receiver spot, and just as he passes the eye test. For most of last year, he passed the invisibility test. Because And this year he's got to show because two spots are taken for Brew. I think he's locked in. I think Squirrel's locked in.
Mm-hmm.
So the competition's going to be on Dante. He's been here a year. He knows the system a little bit better. Uh, in Brazil, particularly, is going to bring some heat as well as Nimrod, um, her
Webb.
Webb. I mean
Yeah.
Webb, and big year for Nathan Leacock too. He's got to
Mm-hmm.
step forward.
I really think, Tim, that post spring, that one of those four guys you mentioned, Thornton, Leacock, Webb, Nimrod, one of those four guys probably transfers post spring. It's just we don't play very many wide receivers, and if you're the
If you're number 8,
yeah,
uh,
you're not probably not getting into games unless it's a blowout.
yeah,
So and these guys are getting to be upperclassmen, some of them, and they see the Mac Matthews, the Brandon Staley's coming in. They're also probably looking at our class that we're building right now, which look like it may be a
um,
huge, big time
super wide
class.
receiver class, I believe.
So uh, don't be shocked if you get a. I'm gonna say two of them may
Yeah,
transfer
that's a
post spring.
possibility. Uh,
So, but it makes it even bigger for somebody like Thornton if he sticks around for him to produce.
it does. Um, Speaking of production, if there's a spot on that offense that I worry about, that'd be left guard.
To me, it's the weakest spot on the team. It was a kind of a weak spot last year, uh, but and that's another. Speaking of the portal, if Carrick, Lang, Lampley, if one of those three guys don't emerge, don't be surprised if we don't get somebody post spring portal to take that spot because that is a weak spot.
It is, and unfortunately, the post spring transfer portal is probably your weakest.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be less people, super quality people out there,
Yeah,
and everybody's going to be trying to get them.
sure.
But with the guys we have on there, we brought Carrick in last year. He had some injury
Mm-hmm.
issues, banged up a bit. This is a big year for him. I think it's his to take if he wants it, but he's not taking it yet. Now it could be somebody like a Jackson Lampley. We always talk about offensive line being a developmental position,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem is fans we tend to already by time a guy gets to be a senior and he hasn't made it on the field for 5,000 snaps for us,
Yeah.
we've written him off.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly on offensive line, it just takes some guys years and years in the weight room, years of honing their body,
Mm-hmm.
changing it. And Lampley finished the year off pretty nicely.
Every now and then you get a guy who's a senior. Usually they emerge their
Other
sophomore,
junior.
junior year. Yeah. Every now and then it's their senior year. That's hoping it is this case
Jackson's.
with Jackson. Otherwise, he's going to get passed with guys who are probably more talented. Uh, because we got some young guys who are more talented than
Yeah, we got some freshmen coming in that might,
maybe
throw their name in that mix.
maybe a Satterwhite.
Yeah.
Um,
Anderson.
yeah, Will not Will Max
Max
Anderson.
Anderson.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, Tim. It's big spring for those guys, and they need to do something uh, for the team. It's a big spot, weak spot for the team. Next spot, to me, this spot, it's not about a weak spot on the team, but it's a spot about taking our defensive line to the next level. Uh, our other three spots on the defensive line are going to be all conference or all American top level players. Uh, but can Tyree West take that spot, Tim, and run with it? The talent is there.
Well, it is, Bob. And West, he's another big body. Um, as a man could slide into defensive tackle in a rabbit package and
Mm-hmm.
really have success. But I think I've heard you say he looks different. He's 290 pounds and he's athletic. He can move.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the talent as a freshman flash, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, most of last year he just disappeared. Tyler Barron was having a really, really strong year, as as evidence, Bob, by how many times we had pictures of him being held in various games.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but West is going to have a lot. Whoever takes that spot, and we believe it's going to be West, um, is going to have a lot of one-on-one opportunities because we are really good on defensive line.
We are. Uh, he could make his defensive line great. I mean, he really couldn't. And like I said, Tim, I've watched some guys. I like to focus on defensive linemen a lot of times and just see how they're doing. West has that ability. He just needs to be more consistent. He ended last year pretty hot, 1.5 sacks in the bowl game,
It looks
half
like a
sack
start.
Vanderbilt game.
Let's see if
So
he motivates that. If that motivates him throughout the off season and in the spring practice, because if he plays at that level all the time,
yeah,
you
watch
know,
out. I mean, watch out. This defensive line and defense could be outstanding.
we'll see in Arizona if he continues playing like that. Um, but we need those guys. We got to get after a quarterback because,
Hmm.
dude, we got some young talent, but boy, it's all new back in the secondary.
It is, Tim. And speaking of secondary, our next person we're going to talk about, or actually maybe one or two guys, um, we're going to talk about John Slaughter, a little bit of Boo Carter. Um, you know, we pretty much a new secondary, like you said. But everybody that watches believes that basically the people we're bringing in that's replacing these people are more athletic, faster, uh, but just less experienced. One of those guys is John Slaughter. Tim, when they was going to do bowl prep last year, I reckon he was the guy who stood out.
Well, he did. Just coming in off out of high school, it's been a year and 3 months ago or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and he popped. The coaches were surprised, more athletic than they had hoped. And of course, I mean, if Tim Banks coach defense, if you ain't starting, you ain't playing at safety.
Yeah,
We really didn't get to see a whole lot of Slaughter this year.
really did. I mean,
Uh,
and I don't know if that's just because he was that much further behind, or if he could have been like right on the starters' heels, and
we'd never
still
know because
never know. He
you're
don't
only
play.
going to get 4 snaps a game at best.
Yeah.
Uh, Probably not that in most games. So he's brand new. Really, they all are. But he's going to have to hold off some of these young lines we went at and got. And Boo Carter is the one that we're excited about because golly, man, he's just so exciting at the high school level.
Talent there, right?
Talent's dripping out of him.
Is he safety? Is he a star? Don't know,
Is he
but
a wide
man,
receiver? Is he running back? Does he
right.
do water boy? I mean, my God.
But people like, to me, with this defense, we've got a lot of good players. I mean, we got a lot of good players. Marley Thomas, Eason, Dominic Bailey,
Norman Lott,
Paley,
Josh Jacobs,
yeah,
Josephs. I mean,
Joshua Joseph. But the thing is, to me, for a defense to be great, you need some playmakers, and you need difference makers. In Boo Carter, and I think John Slaughter, those, and another Carter that we'll talk about here just shortly, Aaron Carter. You need playmakers to
yeah,
take that defense to the next level.
we do, and that's why I think they'll be looking for people back there that can go get the ball out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to rush a quarterback, we're going to get to the quarterback, we're going to make some errant throws. Um, we need people back there that can break on the ball, grab it.
Exactly.
You might remember a guy named Berry that used to do a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
it for us back in the day, and that's what we need back there in that spot.
Yeah.
Um,
We need somebody who's just not there to make the tackle, but a guy who is knocking that ball away. The difference, that split second and athleticism,
athleticism
speed,
get you there.
is the difference between a guy.
Now they may bust some, but that's growing pains sometimes.
It is.
Let's stay on the defensive side for another player, Bob, and we'll go back to kind of the position again. Uh, and that's going to be some linebacker opposite of Keenan Peely.
That spot's wide open, in my opinion. A lot of people have Herring penciled in there, but to me, Herring come in to replace Peely last year. I think both of those guys are probably more of the
Traditional
Mike
Mike guy.
Thumper type linebackers. So to me, I don't think it's just a given that Herring's that other linebacker.
Well, no, and he didn't really play good enough last year to really cement a job down either.
He struggled
He
in
struggled.
pass
He struggled,
against the pass,
and he's going to miss a spring.
and he's gonna miss one.
So if it wasn't for that, I'd say he was a guy that needed to step up to keep his
Mm-hmm.
job. As it is, there's a number of guys going to vie for that wheel spot. Um,
More talented guys.
More talented guys, and we've also got a new linebacker coach too. And one thing he values above all else, apparently, speed. Since he mentioned it like 17 times during his initial
Yeah.
press conference.
Yeah, he did. And he said that everybody's coming to
Clean slate.
clean slate, level playing field. So two guys that jump out to me when he said that was Aaron Carter and Caleb Perry. Guy, don't be sleeping on this guy, man. I know he's a little bit of upperclassman now, but he hadn't played a whole lot of football, and when he got here, but speed, athleticism, he's not short on.
No, he's not. He played 220 snaps, I believe it was last year. The majority of them were in pass coverage, um, which William Ing mentioned in today's games. You've got to have a guy that can cover.
Can do both, yeah.
You got to hold up, but
Can't
you
be
got
just
to.
a good guy against the run
Yeah.
or just a good guy against the pass. You got to be able to do both.
So Perry's going to be having great opportunity to make an impression on the new coach. Um, and like I said, we all waited for Aaron Carter to kind of turn the light on last year. I don't believe we're going to wait a little longer. I believe the light's going to come on.
Yeah.
One of those two guys, whoever takes that spot, huge for a team because I think we're going to have a star there.
Well, I do too. And let me just also mention one other guy who I think will be a star too down there is Jeremiah Tealander. I'm not sure if he fits that will linebacker spot that's open. I think he's more of a thumper myself, but I do think he's going to be a big time
Yeah.
linebacker for us.
Well, yeah, and he'll compete for that spot. I mean, if you're just better, you're better.
You're right.
But I do believe, I'm like you, he's kind of made better for the Mike spot.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of new coaches too, a running back coach coming into a room that lost a couple of dynamite players, Jabari Small and Wright. Man, I can't wait to see what he does in the draft, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not coming into a bare room.
No, you got Dylan Sampson, Cam Seldon is probably the two leaders in that group. A third guy who's yet to be determined, but A big thing with that group, I think both of them can run. That's not an issue. But after watching the Iowa film and seeing some other plays throughout the year, pass protection will be huge. And, you know, if somebody like Sampson is going to take your spot and run with it, he's going to have to be a pass pro.
We will, Bob. There's nothing that irritates a quarter coach more than getting your quarterback killed.
Hmm.
That's what kept Jamal Lewis on the bench all them years ago. Mark Levine took his spot for the first couple of games.
Yep.
Of course, I'll still kind of whine about that
Yeah.
somewhat.
Yeah.
I think when you're that good a runner, that itself takes pressure off your quarterback.
It is.
But, all of our eggs are in that Nico basket this year.
Yeah.
And, man, we're going to run them some, but you sure can't be taking extra shots and getting your guy just blown up in the backfield back there. So, um, this is huge for Sampson. He's got to show his new coaches that they can trust him. And
Yeah.
if you can't trust him, he's going to still get out there. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But what's his snaps look like? I mean, if he can trust, his snaps could be huge this year.
Yeah. I think your running back snap count will greatly be affected by who's the better pass protector.
Yeah.
Uh,
Seldon's got the body for it. Big, big
if
guy.
he's the better pass protector, then I think he will outsnap
Yeah.
Sampson, even though Sampson might be better. But I think Seldon. I mean, we talked about him last year glowingly. The talent is there. I mean, the size speed combo, it's impressive.
Yeah. And he ain't just a guy, big, fast guy. He's an athlete.
He's an athlete,
Uh,
and I think this is a big spring for him, Tim, because he's a guy who hasn't played a ton of running back. He played a lot of wide receiver
in
in
high
high
school,
school,
yeah. They
and
just throw him back out, run back every now and then, just say, hey, we've got to get the ball here till you catch. Uh,
and when you watched him play in the spring last year, you could see that he was still trying to get that feel. You know, I don't even remember, man. Right when he first got down there, he was a different runner
than what he was
when
with
he
Lou.
left, and it
Oh,
wasn't just because of size and speed. He was more patient. His vision got better, and I think that's what's going to improve with Selden. It's just more reps, and I think it's a big spring for him.
well, it is. Brings us to the last guy. Y'all may or may not have heard of him. Nico
Yeah,
iamaleava.
something like that.
Yeah, I'm working on it, people.
Yeah, we'll have it before he graduates. Uh,
Definitely.
uh, you know, he just basically it's a big spring for him because he just needs simply is continue his progression as a quarterback, fine tune, get his accuracy down, and it's not just about Nico too. To me, it's about the backups. We got a freshman coming in, Jake Merklinger. Uh, I mean,
I like him a lot.
yeah, but he's going to have to be ready pronto because our quarterback room is Nico,
Gaston Moore,
Gaston Moore, and
Navy
Jake
Schuler.
Merklinger, the
Well,
guy
yeah.
who's yeah, and Navy Schuler. Which if Navy Schuler gets in the game, we're in trouble
Yeah,
unless we're up
and
by
quite
45
honestly, I
points.
would have never mentioned Navy Schuler if his dad wasn't Heath Schuler. So
Right?
let's get honestly, it's Gaston Moore
Yeah.
and Merklinger. Um, and Gaston is a walk on
Hmm.
who can probably run the offense, but he is a walk on for a reason.
Right.
So, Jake, I know you ain't from State Farm, but you're insurance, man.
Yeah, you're insurance. Yeah. Uh, but it's just main thing about this thing: get Merklinger better, get him ready, and Nico just getting a little bit better, taking that next step because this we have the pieces in place to have a outstanding year, uh, and a lot of it comes back to Nico.
Bob, it's here, man. Now that we're talking all this football, spring practice almost here. I'm excited for the new year, the first year of the college football playoff.
Hmm.
So this team has a lot to shoot for, a lot to improve on, and I'm ready for it.
I am too, Tim. I believe we have a legitimate shot at making the playoff this year, and And if the guys we mentioned beforehand has big springs, that will go a very, very long way
into putting us in there.
putting us in there.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to change that to the Tennessee Invitational, Bob,
Oh, sorry,
because we're going to be a fixture.
fixture.
That's right. So on that silly little note, guys, go Big Orange.
Go Vols.